My name is Susmit Kumar. I have a PhD from Penn State. My website address is www.susmitkumar.net. The title of this talk is Karma, Mind and Quest for Happiness. I am the author of a book with the same name, Karma, Mind and Quest for Happiness. In this presentation, we will cover three topics. Happiness is a state of mind, brain and science, and what is karma. The book has many more topics discussed in detail in addition to the three topics discussed in this presentation. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Karmanne vadhikarestu ma parisu kasachana. That is, surrender the fruits of actions to me. Buddhism also follows this philosophy. But it is impossible to detach oneself completely from the worldly objects which are required for the enjoyment of the life's pleasure. Unless one has some goal, that is to achieve some desired pleasure, he cannot work with maximum effort. On the other hand, materialistic or capitalistic attitude is to indulge in worldly objects of pleasures. But most often, results achieved are not what one wants, and this causes the pain and sorrow. So both theories are most extreme and flawed. In the movies, when the camera is focused on a single person's face, that person's face is very clear, but while those of others are hazy. Similarly, if we focus our mind on a particular object, that object controls our passion, and other things becomes less important. So the theory should be work with all the abilities to get the best results. And if one does not get the desired result, he has to focus the mind on some other object to minimize the happiness. In exam, I study very hard. If desired result is achieved, everything is okay. If desired result is not achieved, I may think that this is not going to be of any importance to me after 20 years. So why should I bother about this? When I was in 8th grade, my 7th grade result was of very much importance. But right now, I do not care for my 7th grade result. Apart from this, everyone has a list of worries. Poor people have money as a number one in the list. Rich people have something else as number one in the list. Michael Jackson was so famous and a millionaire, but he could not sleep without sedative injection by a doctor. And also everybody thinks that only he is unhappy and others happy. And the list of these worries never empties. For example, a seriously ill person has his health as a number one in this list. But when he regains his health, something else becomes number one. If a poor person becomes rich, money goes out of his list of worries and something else takes its place. For example, a PhD student in the US gets $20,000 a year scholarship. He thinks that professors who are getting $100,000 a year are happy. If he would compare himself with billions of people in Africa who do not have food to eat, he would be like in heaven. Once he graduates and he starts to get $100K a year, he finds someone getting $3,000 a year. to compare with and feel bad. Again, everybody thinks that only he is unhappy and others are happy. Things like wealth and power are all relative nature. Hence, happiness is a state of mind. So, better formulation of happiness is try to the best of your abilities to achieve a goal. But whether you achieve that goal or not, always think of life's long-term meaning in order to minimize losses or pain. One should never look back, as one cannot change the past. One should always look ahead. Start comparing yourself with those who are behind you in the queue. Let us go to the subject of brain and science. Our science is just 300-400 years old, whereas this universe is billions of years old. Our science can detect only 5% of materials of the universe. As it cannot detect rest 95%, it calls them dark matters and dark energies. You can read about dark matter and dark energy on internet, or you can go to Wikipedia and read about it. So, present day science does not know any of the scientific laws of 95% at all. There may be many more materials in the universe about which our present day science do not have any knowledge. According to a research paper by astrophysicists Neil Torok and Paul Steinhardt, our universe is at least 1 trillion years old. There were several big bangs in the past, and there will be big bangs in the future too. Now, the NASA scientists and others are coming up research paper that there are multiple universes also. So there are universes apart from our universe also. So hence our scientific knowledge is very limited, very limited. Now consider our brain. Each human brain has about 100 billion neurons. Each neuron has up to 10,000 synapses. These are like wire coming out of the neurons. So each neuron can interact with up to 10,000 nearest neurons. So this can be said to be like the internet. All 5 sensory organs, ears, eyes, nose, skin, and tongue, are constantly sending data to the brain. For an example, eyes are sending 72 gigabytes of data a second to the brain. The moment skin touches a hot item, brain immediately comes to know about it. So each and every cell of your skin is sending data every second to your brain. Hence, brain is getting trillions and trillions of bytes of data each second. Out of these, brain filters few bytes out and then concentrate on it. A senior or famous neurosurgeon at the Toronto Western Hospital in Canada was operating on the brain of an obese person to control his appetite. So he inserted electrodes into one part of the patient's brain. Then suddenly the patient started narrating in intricate detail the scene of being in park with friends from 30 years earlier. When the doctor increased the electrical current, details became more vivid. He recognized his girlfriend at that time. The scene was in color. People were wearing identifiable clothes and were talking. When the current was turned off, he forgot everything. So, brain is a huge database, or say hard drive. Your entire life's history is stored, whatever you have said, thought, or done. It is a question of reading your hard drive. When one thinks, it creates electromagnetic spectrum due to the neuron movements. If you can read this spectrum, then you can know what a person is thinking. So it's in last 4 or 5 years, the scientists and researchers in US have created techniques to read the brainwave of the person and then move the cursor on the screen, just like you use mouse. So brain is a huge database. If you can read the spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, when you think, if somebody can read it, then he can know what you are thinking. So these days you can find even toys called brain control toys which work on the same principle. If you Google it, the brain control toys, you can get several results. So, but right now the resolution of reading this spectrum is very limited. But over the years, resolution of reading would increase. Now we will go to the last topic. What is karma? So first question which I asked, that what is potential energy, or in short PE? Suppose a book is on floor, you lift the book and place it on a table. So book gains the potential energy, which is mass into gravity into height, that is mgh. You do not calculate this mgh and add to the book. In fact, there is an inbuilt system created by God, Mother Nature, or universe that adds mgh to the book. Now the book has a potential energy, or mgh, but it needs proper environment to express its PE, or potential energy. Unless you take the table out, which is underneath it, book would not express its potential energy. This is the famous Niagara Fall, which everybody recognizes. Near the Niagara Fall, in the downstream, there is a hydroelectric power dam. So let us take this example of water at Niagara Falls. On the top, water has potential energy, which is mgh. At the bottom, this potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy, or Ke, which is half into mass into velocity square. Then hydroelectric dam near Niagara Falls converts Ke to electricity. 300-400 years ago, we didn't have concepts of energies like potential energy, kinetic energy, nuclear energy, chemical energy, electrical energy. There may be several types of energies about which our present science may not have knowledge. Then if you see around yourself, each and everything around you has billions of years of history behind them. When you buy a brand new computer, the computer was built or manufactured in a manufacturing firm. That firm bought the minerals to make the computer. If you trace the minerals which came from the mines, where it was formed in millions of years. For example, coal was formed from dead vegetation, especially long trees, being under pressure, under high pressure and high temperature for millions of years. Now one needs to trace how those long trees who got converted to coal was formed and so on. So every thing has billions of years of history. Also, inadvertently, you are using maybe several dozen or many more scientific laws of the universe, which we can call cosmic operative principle, each and every second. Let's take the example of clapping. It generates sound. So how it generates the sound? Air particle near the hand transfers sound vibration to the next air particle and so on. It involves millions and billions of air particles. Finally, that sound vibration hits the membrane in ear canal. The membrane transfers information to its nearest biological cell in the brain. Then biological cell transfer information to the next cell by electrochemical energy. Finally, it goes to the brain, and in this process, millions and billions of cells are involved. So, but this sound goes to all nearby persons too by same method. And the clapping also generates heat, which you can feel if clapped with force. Again, brain gets heat information in which millions and billions of cells are involved. Because from the palm, your hand, this information is transmitted to your brain, to the biological cell in your, from the palm to the next, then through your hand, and then to your brain. But not only you, but each and everything, animal, plant around you, is using numerous scientific laws each and every moment. So all religions says God will punish and reward everyone based on their deeds. A couple of thousand years ago, when science was not developed, the founders of religions explained this phenomena based on science known at that time. But God does not have pen and pencil to write each and every second whatever a person is doing. And we see in the universe nothing disappears suddenly. Everything recycles, or they change their form. Rain water is evaporated water from ocean or river. It goes underground, turned into groundwater, or used by humans before it finally goes into the rivers or ocean by drainage. In prehistoric times, people who had no knowledge about existence of rivers or oceans or how rain is formed might have claimed some god created rain and clouds out of nothing so that they would get water. So religions which claim humans are specially created by God are but like prehistoric people claiming the creation of rain clouds by some god out of nothing. So according to karma theory, whatever you do, think or speak is subject to a built-in mechanism in this universe. It attaches a karma to your mind or soul so that you will reap accordingly. It works like Newton's second law of motion, which is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If you bang your head with little force, it does not hurt you. If you bang your head with a lot of force, head starts to bleed. Because the reason is with whatever force you are banging, so the other side is also giving you equal and opposite force. That's why. So theory of karma is valid everywhere in the universe. And also you do not need to believe in God to believe in this theory. Unlike several religions, it does not divide human society at all. If you commit a crime or good work, an appropriate karma would get attached to your soul. Now this karma needs an appropriate environment to express itself. Remember book and chair example. Unless you take the table out, book cannot express MGH potential. You may not reap its fruit immediately or in the same manner. You may get the fruits in a circular way, involving several people. Water evaporated from ocean may rain at some other place. So it is same. So you may get the fruit of your action involving several people. We always see several people watch the same incident, but their reactions will be different from each other due to difference in their karmas. A lighter can burn paper, but not an iron rod, because their potentials are different. So similarly, suppose a person goes to New York. If he is a thief, he would find New York a good place to steal, whereas a businessman would find New York a good place to do business. A doctor will find it good place to start his practice. Any student will find it good place to study, as city has good universities. So reactions depend on the karma of a person. That's why even if several people are watching the same incident, reactions will be different. And also an object has several types of properties like size, temperature, shape, density, chemical composition, humidity, electrical properties, mechanical properties, magnetic properties, maybe more than 100, just a number. All these properties are changing every moment, every second. Although we say length, width and height of a table is constant over the time, but these are actually changing every moment with a change in nearby temperature. For say 0.001 degree Fahrenheit change in temperature, length may increase by just say 0.001 millimeter. So it is changing. So similarly, karma also has several types of properties, and they are changing every moment depending on what we do, say, or think. So now, what is the explanation of rebirth? Once you die, all the unexpressed karma leaves the body with the soul. Then the cosmic operative principle would force your soul to take birth at a place where there will be maximum probability of expression of your unexpressed karma. Hence, your horoscope can say many more things about you, as it depends on time, place, date of birth. Scientists are able to say the history of minute meteoroid from its chemical position, that how old it is, like in millions and billions of years, and from which planet or which area of our solar system it came. Similarly, each and every human soul carries its entire history of millions and billions years. And as we discussed earlier, our scientific knowledge is very, very limited. That's why over the time, their analysis is going to increase. They will be able to pinpoint more than the age of the meteoroid and other things. Similarly, each and every human soul carries its entire history of billion years. In my book, Karma, Mind and Quest for Happiness, I have discussed many more things than the 3 topics discussed here. For example, I have discussed mantra, how it affects the human body and mind, then evolution of human soul from rudimentary particle, difference between human and subhuman species, memory, how it works, what are chakras, how they affect human propensities, and theory behind the purification of chakra. Science says that our universe started from one point, is expanding. Question is, where is that expanding? Because wherever there is a space, it should be within the universe. So I have discussed these things and some more in my book. I would discuss here an interesting fact. Sun is at 8 light minutes from our Earth. So light takes about 8 minutes to travel 93 million miles from Sun to Earth. If we watch the Sun at this moment, we are watching events that took place there 8 minutes ago. We are not being able to watch what right now is happening. So Hubble telescope sent by NASA in 1990, and which is at 350 miles from Earth, using it, scientists are able to view galaxies billions of light years from Earth. They witness events of billions of years ago. They are not able to see what is happening right now, because that will reach after billions of years. So with exponential increase in technology, scientists are able to view far away galaxies with resolution greater than the Hubble. So over the years it will increase. So if there are human-like creatures having powerful telescopes on a planet at 65 million light years from Earth, they would be able to see dinosaurs that existed then on this earth. If suppose that planet is at 3000 light years from the earth, then they would have to wait for another 500 years to see the light from earth during the time of Gautam Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Another 1000 years to see the light from earth during the time of Jesus Christ. Another 1650 years to see the light from earth during the time of Prophet Muhammad. So thanks for watching.